of the lamp. So I would request Dr. Anway Muley to please do the honors. I thank you all for making time on a Saturday evening for this much awaited yearly event. As we get settled down, as usual, we will play you the short film on Dr. Nitu Mandke's life for you to enjoy.
On 31st January 1948, Ashok was born in Satara at the foothills of Ajinkya-Tara Mountains. While early schooling was at Lonavala, all holidays were spent at Sangli with his grandparents. Later, while in Pune, Ashok joined Bhave School in 1956. Vasudev Balwant Phadke had founded the school. Ashok's extraordinary sense of patriotism and national pride stems from his tenure at the Bhave School under the guidance of some of the highly respected teachers of that time. Ashok was selected to attend varied institutions like Tilak Vidyapith and Jnana Prabodhini, which were founded primarily to inculcate values of patriotism and Indian culture during the post-independence era. Along with gaining proficiency in drawing, he also excelled on the sports field. He was a smasher in football, says his classmate, Jayant Atle. He was similarly proficient in athletics, boxing, and volleyball. Anil, his elder brother, contributed largely to the upkeep of the family from a very early age. This sense of sacrifice runs deep in the Mandke family, which has been passed down from generation to generation. It was his early military training at Maharashtra Mandal that was responsible for his disciplinary approach. Ashok's college education took place in Maharashtra Education Society, one of the premier economical institutions in Pune at that time. Ashok believed in and practiced meditation right from an early age. His guru, Maharshi Nyay Ratna Appa Sahib Vinod, was a great philosopher. He changed Ashok's name to Nityanath. Later, Nitu sought out and paid his profound respects to many spiritual personalities from all parts of the country. From a family full of engineers and mathematicians, Nitu was the first to choose a medical career. He was awarded a merit scholarship to study medicine at the esteemed BJ Medical College and Sassoon Hospitals, Pune. This is where he met his classmate, Alka, his lifetime companion at home and in the operation theatre. After completing his MBBS from Pune in 1970, Dr. Mandke came to Mumbai so that he could specialize in cardiac surgery.
I found it to be very smart, very intelligent and artistic.
He was very skillful with the hand.
When he was a lecturer at one time, I remember, we had operated a very complicated congenital heart disease. The registrar called me that the patient is bleeding and please come down. So I said, but where is Mandke? He is a lecturer. Have you sent for him? He said, yes, I have sent for him, but he has not turned up, which was quite kind of funny because I never had Dr. Mandke not respond to the call very quickly. So by the time I went from Grant Road to KEM Hospital, I saw Mandke come. So I said, Mandke, what the hell is happening? I come from Grant Road and you were in the quarters, you have not come. So immediately he showed me 2 bottles of blood in his hand. So I said, what happened? He said, I know this patient is A positive, I am A positive. I also knew that there is no blood in the operation theatre. So he went to the blood bank. As soon as he got the call, he went to the blood bank, bled himself 2 units of blood for the patient whom he had nothing to do. And he got it cross-matched, so obviously he got delayed.
This man, with all the difficulties a man would face, coming from a village to Pune, taking primary education in Pune, then coming to Bombay, learning the primary surgery, then going abroad, working in London with one of the greatest heart surgeons, Sir Magdi Yaqub, then going to America, working with another pioneer, Dr. John Kirkland and Pacifico. I mean, very few people can do this in their lifetime.
He has struggled in his life. He has then achieved whatever he has today.
After working in these countries for 8 years, Dr. Mandke chose to return to his country.
He could perform adult surgery and congenital surgery with the same ease.
इंग्लंड अमेरिकेमधल्या पेशंट्सच्या ज्या रक्तवाहिन्या असतात त्या मानाने आणखीनच लहान असतात आणि त्यामुळं इंडियन पेशंट्समध्ये भारतीय पेशंट्समध्ये ही सर्जरी करणं हे खरं सांगायचं म्हणजे जास्त कठीण आहे.
अक्षर इतकं सुंदर होतं की त्यांनी लिहिलेल्या नोट्स म्हणजे अगदी परफेक्ट असायच्या.
And he was a born artist. I used to admire his drawings.
Drawings he used to make after the patient's surgery was over. They were so self-explanatory.
It was just fantastic.
It was more exciting than a Hollywood movie.
He has got a wonderful hand. Some magic is there.
During his increasingly successful professional and public career, he came across people from all walks of life. He was especially gifted to interact with all of them with ease. He was publicly felicitated by many organizations in recognition of his excellence in cardiac surgery as well as service to society. Recognizing the need of basic medical facilities to the deprived, Dr. Mandke regularly conducted medical camps in many underprivileged areas of India. Many patients in the slums of Mumbai city have benefited from Dr. Mandke's free medical camps. At remote areas like Hemalkasa and Anandvan, Dr. Nitu Mandke donates basic medicines and medical accessories. Every year, these medicines are distributed free of cost to the extremely poor tribals. Out of the 12,000 successful cardiac surgeries Dr. Mandke has conducted so far, 4,000 have been absolutely free of charge.
He wanted to bring down the cost of surgery for common people.
माझ्या जवळजवळ 30% पेशंट्स मी माझ्या दृष्टीने फ्री करतो.
And that's why he was very, very kind to his patients. He was one of the few doctors who treated his patients totally free of cost.
आपण कोणी स्कूल टीचर आला, कोणी नर्सेसचे वडील आले, कोणी वॉर्ड बॉयचे कोणी मुलगी आली, आम्ही कितीतरी ऑपरेशन्स करतो. लोकांच्या मनामध्ये काही गैरसमजूत आहे की बाबा मांडके भयंकर महागडा माणूस आहे.
डॉक्टर साहब तो हमारे लिए मिरेकल जैसे ही हैं. And I'm very proud to have a doctor like Dr. Mandke.
Mandke was a person who believed that everyone should get the best possible treatment. And not only medical treatment, but treatment as a human being.
ती 2 महिन्याची गरीब मुलीचं ऑपरेशन फुकट केलं हे कोणी सांगत नाही.
He has made richer patients do charity through him.
10 लाख लोकांना जेव्हा परमेश्वर जन्म देतो त्यावेळेला त्यांची चिंता होण्यासाठी, काळजी करण्यासाठी एका प्रेषिताला जन्म देतो. पण डॉक्टर ही व्यक्ती नव्हती, डॉक्टर हे प्रेषित होते.
आज माझ्या बाबतीत जे ऑपरेशन झालं त्यानंतर आता पहिल्यापेक्षा जोमाने मी कीर्तन करतोय.
असे शल्य विशारद जे आहेत असे मला असं वाटतं फार फार थोडे आहेत.
He conducted the first workshop in minimally invasive coronary artery surgery, or MICAS, in 1995 at PD Hinduja Hospital. He believed MICAS would tremendously reduce the cost of cardiac surgery.
Well, MICAS is a surgery, and he was one of the first ones to do in this country.
Thereafter, he was invited for national and international conferences to share his experiences. He also conducted various workshops in India and abroad to educate other surgeons.
जो आदमी की कोई कीमत होनी चाहिए उसकी कीमत ही नहीं होती, और जिसकी कोई कीमत नहीं है वो बहुत बड़े स्थान पे जाके बैठता है. Is that a democracy? Do you call it is justice? And if that person wants to go abroad and study, why you blame him? And if he doesn't want to come back in this country, why you blame it? You want to change it. Now you want to change it means government has to change it, so you change the damn government. This is what is important. Now you clap.
He's like the jackfruit. Very crude, rude, spiky from outside, but smooth, very, very gentle and extremely sweet from inside.
सर फटकळ माणूस होता. फटकळपणा कुठे? तुला वाटते का मी फटकळपणा? मी सत्य बोललो तर लोकांना वाईट वाटतं, त्याला मी काय करणार?
भाषा त्याची अतिशय शिवराळ होती मात्र, त्यामुळे आमचं जास्त जमायचं.
His ability to convince his patients that they need to undergo surgery.
The minute a patient used to enter his clinic, they would say, okay, that's going to be my surgeon.
And they would go in and they would come out and I would see like them smiling from ear to ear.
He was a very colorful man. I mean, you see the way he wore his clothes, his style of speaking.
Of leadership, team spirit, hard work, dedication, and his flamboyant style were par excellence.
Oh, he was a very charming personality.
Whenever we had parties and he was there, you could rest assured that the party would be full of fun and laughter. He always knew how to get along with people, to rope in everybody who was shy.
This is, we are talking about a man of charisma.
The whole room would come alive when Dr. Mandke would enter the operating room.
Every time that he came in, he would just pat you on the back and he would just walk out, you know.
कोई बहुत सुंदर छोकरी इधर उधर से जाती दिखती है तभी स्ट्रेस होता है.
This is the way I like to live. I like to enjoy my life.
He was a common man. तो स्वतः नेहमी जमिनीवर राहून स्वप्न मात्र त्याने आकाशाएवढी बघितली.
एक गोष्ट डोक्यात घेतली की त्याच्या मागे संपूर्णपणे हात धुवून लागायचा आणि आपला संपूर्ण जीव त्याच्यात होतायचा.
थेट नजरेत बघण्याची त्याची जी पद्धत होती ती, इकडे तिकडे नजर टाळून कधी कोणाशी बोललाच नाही हा माणूस.
क्वचितच जगामध्ये असे सव्यसाची लोक येतात आणि आपल्या तेजाने ते सगळ्यांना तेजवून टाकतात. नेतू हा असा धूमकेतू सारखा होता.
कौशल्य ज्यांच्यात आहे ते योगीच होते.
Just writing behind the truck or your tempo, मेरा भारत महान, उससे भारत महान नहीं होता. You have to change it.
His ideas were always big, and this is why when he embarked on his Mandke Hospital, the Mandke Heart Hospital, he didn't want it to be the second best. He wanted it to be the best. Best in India, best in Asia, probably the best in the world.
His transition from a heart surgeon to a promoter, developer and a conceiver of a hospital was so easy.
Civil engineering was child's play for him. And he said that I should contribute to that endeavor in terms of how information technology can contribute to building the modern, world-class hospitals of tomorrow.
मी काय बीच हाऊसेस बांधू, फार्म हाऊसेस बांधू, मी हॉस्पिटल बांधू शकतो, परंतु तेवढा पैसा डॉक्टरकडे नसतो, तो इंडस्ट्रियल हाऊसकडे असतो. म्हणून कोणी डॉक्टर हे बांधायला धजवत नाही. आता मी कसं बांधतोय हे माझं मलाच माहिती.
A dream that began more than 30 years ago is now about to take shape. The Mandke Heart Hospital and Medical Research Center has 17 floors, 550 beds, 14 operating theaters, and every conceivable state-of-the-art medical technology dedicated entirely to the well-being of your heart.
He was ambitious. And he took a challenge which nobody can ever even imagine in a dream.
Mandke were the architects of New India.
जे लोक स्वप्न बघतात ते स्वप्न साकार कसं करायचं हे सुद्धा त्यांना माहित असतं.
Money never came. Heart attack came.
The 14 operation theaters will not only have the best medical equipment, but also have the most skilled and efficient doctors and support staff in the country.
ते एवढा एक डॉक्टर एवढं बांधू शकतोय, हे स्वप्न तो साकार करू शकतो म्हणून छाती दडपते लोकांची.
Larger lobbies, cafeterias for the guests and relations of the patients, a small shopping complex, banking service, travel agency to help the patients to make their travel arrangements, telecommunication center, playroom for the children, a temple and a meditation room would be the exclusive features of this hospital.
For the first time in India, an air ambulance will be used to airlift critical patients from anywhere in the city and its surroundings and transport them directly to a specially constructed helipad on the roof of the hospital, thereby facilitating instant medical help.
It's a completely baseless accusation on him if they are saying that he wanted to design something for the rich.
मी तर गरीब माणसाला सुद्धा 5-star ट्रीटमेंट द्यायला निघालोय.
Dr. Nitu Mandke's dream can never die. Dr. Alka Mandke, who has witnessed each and every milestone alongside Dr. Nitu Mandke, is fully committed to ensure that this dream becomes a reality.
He wanted India to have the best. I mean, he was somebody who took great pride in being in India.
I love this place. That's why I want to see it improve. I want your children, everybody get a proper education.
आता विश्वात्मके देवे येणे वाग्यज्ञे तोषावे
तोषोनि मज द्यावे बसाय दान हे
जे खळांची व्यंकटी सांडो तया सत्कर्मी रतिवाढो भूता परस्परे पडो मैत्र जीवाचे दुरिताचे तिमिर जावो विश्व स्वधर्म सूर्ये पाहो जो जे वांछील तो ते लाहो प्राणी जात.
As we all do every year. Today, on 31st of January this year, would have marked his 75th birthday. So it is a very special year for us, and we have very, very special guests today. All our guests here, I would like to invite everybody now to come on the dais, and Dr. Anil Tendulkar sir, Dr. Anway Muley sir, Dr. Meena Bhatt madam, Dr. Alka Mandke. Unfortunately, Dr. Arun Saukar was not able to join us today because of some health issues. But Dr. Mrs. Meena Bhatt will be joining us. I think she's stuck in traffic, as many Mumbaikars are nowadays. And I now invite Mandar Mandke to deliver the welcome address. Mandar is my brother and the youngest of her siblings. He studied to become a robotics engineer and then followed his heart to develop adventure tourism in Maharashtra as Natventure Holidays, as well as become a developer of properties. He is currently building homes for people in Lonavala. Mandar.
Thank you, Charuta. A very good evening to all of you. Respected dignitaries, friends and family, eminent guests. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you to the 20th Dr. Nitu Mandke Oration here at the Kokilaben Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital, which is so well managed by Mrs. Tina Ambani and her team. That itself is a big monument for Dr. Nitu Mandke, his passion, his vision, his work throughout his short life. Over the past 2 decades, like Charuta mentioned, this year he would have been 75. Over the past 2 decades, we have had the honor of hosting some of the most eminent personalities to give this oration. Thanks to the untiring and enthusiastic efforts of our mother, Dr. Alka Mandke, who has been stoic in taking the baton from Baba Dr. Nitu Mandke. I couldn't help but mention what a big inspiration and a role model you are to all of us. In order of their appearances as orators, we've previously had Dr. V. A. Subramanian in 2004, Padma Shri Dr. Valiyathan, Padma Shri Dr. K. M. Cherian, Dr. K. R. Balakrishnan, Padma Shri Dr. Ashwin B. Mehta, Dr. Navin Nanda, Dr. Deepak Tempe, Dr. Mukesh Haryawala, Professor K. Srinath Reddy, Dr. Suresh Rao, Dr. Sudhanshu Bhattacharya, Dr. Naresh Trehan, Dr. Devi Shetty, Dr. Bharat Dalvi, Dr. Krishna Iyer, Dr. J.J. Dalal, Dr. Shirish Hiremat, Dr. P.S. Reddy, and last year we had Dr. Michael Reardon. This year we have our own Dr. Anway Muley, and he is going to be speaking about new frontiers impacting cardiac surgery, which as always is sure to be very interesting and thought-provoking. I'm sure all of you are looking forward to it. Once again, we would like to welcome you, and we are extremely honored by your presence here today. Enjoy the evening. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mandar. So, coming to the 20th oration now that you are all waiting for. First, to introduce our orator, I will invite Dr. Praveen Kulkarni. Dr. Praveen is a senior consultant cardiovascular thoracic surgeon and heart-lung transplant lead at Jupiter Hospital, Mumbai. He is an expert in all types of cardiovascular and thoracic surgeries. I invite him to introduce our esteemed orator, Dr. Anway Muley.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for the kind introduction. Dr. Nitu Mandke sir was a pioneer of cardiac surgery in India, and on the occasion of Dr. Nitu Mandke sir's oration, it is my great privilege to introduce a great surgeon, that is Dr. Anway Muley, who would enlighten us with today's topic, New Frontiers Impacting Present-Day Cardiac Surgery in India. Now, before I would like to quote some brief highlights of Dr. Muley sir's achievements before I speak about his career journey. Dr. Anway Muley sir started the first successful heart transplant surgery program in Maharashtra in the city of Mumbai in August 2015. 47 years after P.K. Sen, Dr. P.K. Sen, the first Indian surgeon first attempted a heart transplant surgery in KM Hospital in Mumbai in the year of 1967. Dr. Anway Muley sir has done the first heart and lung transplant en bloc operation at Maharashtra in Mumbai. He has done the first left ventricular assist device in the year 2017. He has done more than 100 of heart transplants along with heart and lung transplant. He has been a pioneer of minimal invasive surgery since 2005, minimal invasive valve surgery since 2005, and minimal invasive total arterial coronary surgery since 2010. He has one of the largest series of MECAs in India. He has introduced to the city of Mumbai the art of hand-sewn aortic valve replacement using autologous pericardium. He has patent filed to his name to the formula which measures the correct dimensions of pericardium to give a competent tissue aortic valve. He has not only served cardiac surgical patients in metros like Mumbai, but also has operated on needy and less affording patients in villages of Latur and periphery. He has been a great teacher and a very kind person. He has helped establish multiple new centers capable of delivering highest level of cardiac surgical operations all across the country where he traveled. He is one of the few surgeons in India who can operate adult cardiac or a pediatric cardiac patient with same proficiency. Now, it would be very interesting for all of us to know what makes him such a genius. Dr. Muley is blessed with a very amazing family. Right from early days, his mother inculcated very high spiritual values in him and always impressed upon him the importance to swim against the current of the river. Behind every successful man, there is a woman. Sanjot Madam, wife of Dr. Anway Muley, who is Director of Research at Divya Patel Dental College, has stood strong with Sir all throughout his career. Sir is blessed with 2 kids. His daughter Pramata pursues plastic surgery at JJ Hospital, and his son is getting trained as a fighter plane pilot in the Indian Air Force. Muley sir's educational journey, he did his schooling in Veleparle in Mumbai. He studied MBBS and MS General Surgery from Grant Medical College. He did his MCH in cardiac surgery at KM Hospital in Mumbai. He further trained himself overseas at Bristol and Leeds in UK. He traveled to US to work with Dr. Starr Herbert in US and then returned to Leeds in UK as a consultant cardiac surgeon. During his overseas stay, he had the opportunity to meet and learn from pioneers and giants in cardiac surgery like Dr. Alan Carpentier and Dr. Magdi Yaqub. In the year 1999, he and his family made the decision to return to motherland. Since 1999, he started with Pune, then Surat, also traveled to small villages in Latur to make available cardiac surgery in the remote places to less affording people. He had brief return to foreign lands as he served as head of cardiac surgery in Caribbean islands at Trinidad and Tobago. He later returned to India. He started to work in Mumbai at Kokilaben Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital. It was here that he got his minimal invasive cardiac surgery program started. In the year 2014, he joined Fortis Mullen and got the heart transplant program started. He did more than 100 plus of heart and heart-lung transplant at Fortis Mullen. And to write a new chapter in cardiac surgery, he moved from Fortis Mullen to reputed Sir H.N. Reliance Hospital at Girgaon, Mumbai. Currently, he works as a director of advanced cardiac surgery at H.N. Reliance Hospital, Mumbai. Research and innovations has been very close to his heart. Since his school days, he has made trips to Lamington Road to make science project from spares in electronic shops. His engineering mind often takes him to IIT Mumbai to work and contribute to various research projects at India's premier institute. He has a lot of research publications to his name. To name a few, publications on temporary mechanical support, virtual cross-match, early experience on pediatric heart transplantation, and also he has publications with regards on-pump versus off-pump, AF and posterior pericardial window, use of IVP on-pump, etc., etc. Without spending much time, I would like to invite our esteemed guest, Dr. Anway Muley, to enlighten us today with today's topic of new frontiers impacting cardiac surgery.
Sir's Dr. Mandke's film. And don't feel like talking anymore because it's indeed my honor and to be on this stage today for Dr. Mandke Oration. My sincere gratitude to Dr. Alka Mandke, Dr. Charuda, Dr. Julie, and Mandar for giving me this esteemed privilege. I also thank for the organizers for inviting me for this prestigious oration. The topic I'm told to talk was on New Frontier. And when I was looking for the new frontiers, I understand that they keep changing every day, throughout our life. It's unknown opportunities and perils. It's uncharted areas of science. New frontiers impacting the cardiac surgery is a vast topic and not possible for me to cover in this aspect, cover all the aspects today. However, I shall try to summarize how it has changed the horizon in of my career span of last 3 decades. It's a cutting-edge technology, and as you will realize, the skills are taken over by the technology, and in the vast front, that idiots like me also can do anything, that's what the technology is assuring you. As we come to the end of it, we'll realize that. In 1896, edition of the surgery of the chest. In 1896, that is 18th century, the chest, the no less authority than a distinguished surgeon, Stephen P. Paget has wrote. And that was the third frontier, was proposed the suture of the heart. And when they were proposing the sutures of the heart, Paget wrote that surgery of the heart is probably has reached the limit set by the nature for all surgeries. And we'll see how it is true and how it has been not true or how it has been obsolete now. And that was that time frontier of making a suture that where surgeon can put it on the heart. Our dilemma lies in the task of distinguishing surmountable from insurmountable barrier. While learning general surgery, had an opportunity to see the cardiac surgery, and I had made my mind then to become a cardiac surgeon because it was more charming and fascinating. Not in only terms of money, because I never understood that time what the money brings or money doesn't bring. But it was for learning, and it was very fascinating for me to go ahead with it. And that was my frontier to become a cardiac surgeon at that time of my career. I finished my general surgery, and as usual in Mumbai University, the court case had gone for admissions for the super specialty or the post-graduation. And there was a delay of 10-15 days. And I got the KM hospital because I was almost second or third in the university. So I got a seat in KM hospital where I wanted. And my teacher is Dr. Tendulkar. So I went to meet him in KM hospital. It was Thursday. I'll never forget that day. And on Thursday in the afternoon, I went to see him and tell him that you are my teacher, and I want to join the KM hospital for cardiac surgery. So only one question he was in ICU. So only one question he asked, when you are joining. So I said, today is 19th, so I'll either join from 1st of the next month. He said, no, join today. So I changed, went to the operation theater and ICU and started working in the KM hospital from then. That was my first day of the cardiac surgery as a resident. There I saw my teacher working as a ward boy, as a technician, as a houseman, as a resident, as a nurse, as a lecturer, associate professor, and head of the department. In one person, everything, same time. That taught me something. And what I took back, apart from the cardiac surgery, apart from the techniques, apart from learning from him about the basic foundation of cardiac surgery, I realized that don't look at who is the problem, see what is the problem. When you are working in ICU, and that is the biggest learning I ever got, which I carried throughout my life, and that helped me to encounter the new frontiers which came across in my whole life. I left India to learn more and advanced training in cardiac surgery. And overseas training was an opportunity to consolidate my basics and acquire further skills and knowledge. In first few months, I realized that we Indians are very good individually and maybe more or equally good or skillful and knowledgeable as of Western people. However, when it comes to working together, we failed. I learned organized skills, organizational skills, teamwork, importance of research, application of lateral thinking, along with the in-depth understanding of the topic or the subject. Over the years, I learned the value of team building, where there is not only not only no I in the team, however, there is no M and E also, which is there in the team. That makes me the money and ego should also be kept apart if you want to develop the team. Wherever I worked in abroad, at least as I understand now that Dr. Mandke was in Bhave school and I was also in a Bhave school. When I went abroad, I realized that Dr. Mandke had worked here. And that was through the operation notes when the patients come to you for follow-up. And I used to see this operation was done some years back, and who has read the operation notes, and I read this beautiful handwriting and beautiful diagrams written there. And then I see Dr. Mandke's signature. That made me so proud. I was one of the unfortunate of my time who were not privileged or destined to work with Dr. Mandke. Like for many, he was one of the idol, and for me also he was idol at that time, even though I had not opportunity to work with him. In UK and USA, I worked at few places where I realized Dr. Mandke also had worked there or visited there. At places I came to know when I used to read on operation notes and see his beautiful diagrams, especially in the complex congenital conditions. I used to feel very proud for the legacy he has left for an Indian. मला मराठीमध्ये इंग्लिशमध्ये मिशा पिळणं म्हणजे काय माहीत नाही, पण तेव्हा पण नव्हते आणि आता पण नाही आहेत. पण मला सरांसारख्या त्या नोट्स बघितल्या आणि ऑपरेशन नोट्स बघितल्यानंतर किंवा डायग्राम बघितल्यानंतर आय यूज टू फील लाईक आय शुड ऑल्सो टीच माय मदर. We met after a long time in Pune when I came back to India in 2000, and he used to come to visit in Pune at different hospitals to operate there. And unknowing to me, he used to come and observe me and then disappear from there. And then my anesthetist used to tell Dr. Mandke I had come here. But we never had an interaction or talking together. The first closest interaction we had together was in Boston of 2003 in April, with the usual ATS meeting. And there for 3 or 4 days, he continuously contacted me and said we used to for breakfast and lunch and such. And then he used to ask me where you are going, which region you are going. I learned that time that teamwork is so important and essential. And he told me there blankly that you leave and come back to Maharashtra again or to Mumbai again. I didn't realize what he meant by that. I knew that he was building an hospital. And that time I told him that I am not interested much in the CABGs and valves and all, because not that I have mastered them, but I wanted to see and open up the different avenues which is not done back home. That time one thing he told me, never compete with anybody. If at all you want to compete, compete with yourself. And how can be better tomorrow than yesterday? Yourself, not more than others. My mother used to tell me that there is no point in saying that somebody else is bad, that is why you are good. It should not be the case. And Dr. Mandke insisted me that you develop a team, you come back to Mumbai, and we will do the many good things about it. Unfortunately, after 2-3 weeks, he had a massive heart attack. And that time I thought that if the transplant was existing that time, he could have been saved. And that is why I called Dr. Mandke, Alka Mandke, after I did a first transplant, that I dedicate this transplant, or my tribute to Dr. Mandke is this first heart transplant. In England or in America, there is always the ambience of doing some research and writing the papers. I did this paper for the posterior pericardiotomy because at that time I realized that 30 to 35% of the patients were having atrial fibrillation after simple coronary artery bypass graft surgery. It may be because of age, it may be because of many things. That time it was done on a heart-lung machine. So a right atrium was handled, the aorta was handled, it was all vein grafts. So aorta and pulmonary artery was dissected, and where the chance of getting atrial fibrillation. There are many thousand reasons for getting an atrial fibrillation. But one of the reasons I realized was that collection of the posterior pericardial fluid. And for that, no cardiologist was willing to do an echocardiography of this patient for me. So I learned echocardiography in England and decided to do the echocardiography of 100 patients. And I told them and showed them. And after that, we did a randomized study on it, which was published in 1995. So this is a small clip which will tell you that this is the posterior pericardiotomy. So this, we lift the heart and then we open the pericardium, the hole. And this I realized that we can do this because I thought that we used to do closed mitral valvotomy. And when I went to England, I was supposed to be on call by 24/7 for 12 months of the day or 365 days of the year for closed mitral valvotomy because nobody had seen that there. And if the patient comes in emergency, Anway, you are on call for the closed mitral valvotomy. Never had to do that. But in closed mitral valvotomy, when we keep the pericardium open, there was no pericardial collection, or there was never used to be a tamponade in these patients anytime, and the blood used to get collected into the pleura, which was easy to take it out. The posterior pericardiotomy has proved that it is a simple, safe, and effective technique. It reduces the early posterior pericardial collection, reduces the immediate postoperative atrial fibrillation, and postoperative tamponade and pericardial effusion. And this has been cited by many places, many journals afterwards, till last was in 2015. I was brought up in an era of cardiopulmonary bypass, cardiopulmonary bypass and bypass operation or CABG done on a cardiopulmonary bypass or a cross clamp and arrested heart, when the environment is so serene, so quiet, so nice, so beautiful. And then when I came here, it was all about patients were in India, the patients were asking, do you operate on octopus and do you do an operation on octopus? I used to tell them, I don't operate on octopus, I operate on human beings till today. However, this was a demand of the society, demand of the journal. And then Dr. Mandke, Dr. Bhattacharya and everybody, even senior people are doing it and senior people started doing it. And then I thought I have to also learn about it. It was very messy in the beginning, very, very messy in the beginning. And I don't know why I was doing it. However, then I realized that you cannot teach the new tricks to an old dog, but new dogs also cannot learn the new tricks unless he is good at the old tricks. And I meditated myself and then decided to unlearn the things and then start doing it on octopus. And then we did these operations, and majority of the operations, almost 99% are now being done on a beating heart. And experience grew. The aspects crucial to the success of the outcome continued to be refined, thereby allowing majority of, but not all the revascularization procedures to be performed by the beating heart. And I didn't realize that time when heart is beating or surgeon gets beating, I don't know, or anesthetist gets beating. But the belief changed in attitude in the mind helped me a lot. And many times I learned that time was that many things is in our mind. And then we overcome that, then the rest of the things, the God gets it done from your hands. So the new frontier was off-pump bypass, avoided the complications of bypass and cross-clamp, cost reduction, generally faster recovery, opportunity to take the heart surgery to the interiors was possible because of that, because a lot of things and disposables were not required in this case. And in 2004 in World Congress, myself, Dr. Ashutosh Hardikar and Ashutosh, we presented 900 cases on off-pump beating heart, total revascularization, arterial revascularization. From there, I was destined to go to the Trinidad Tobago, the island, where it's a beautiful island, and it was difficult to get things done, needed on a day-to-day basis. For example, I used to get only one size of the valve. And then I have to do echo myself to find out which size will be the nearest to it. And then my repair things was coming into my hand, much handy, that I will try to first repair the valves, and if not, then replace it. However, the rheumatic heart disease was not that rampant as in India that time, and the majority of the patients were of the bypass operation. And they were beach-loving and carnival-loving people, and they did not want a scar in the front of the chest. And I heard about the minimally invasive or through the left thoracotomy bypass surgery being done, but I had never seen it. And the demand of the patients forced me to do this operation, and we did it, and we successfully did it. And that time their double lumen tube or bronchial blockers were impossible on that island. So the single lumen tube was pushed into the right side and the left lung was collapsed, and then the left lung was either pushed out or then extubated on table. And this is the patient who was extubated on the table and brought to the ICU. And this started at doing through the left thoracotomy. With the standard equipments, there were no equipments of the minimally invasive. So my incision used to be little 2-3 inches more than the minimally invasive incision. So I still call them sternal sparing operation. Doing a minimally invasive is a conceptual evaluation, and the controlled injury with a specific intent is a surgery. And reaching optimal surgical endpoint with minimum trauma and maintaining the ICU or the index of completeness of revascularization was very, very important for me in the minimally invasive. And when we went ahead, I realized that off-pump cardiopulmonary bypass avoids many of the things, and just only we have to do the anastomosis, like a vascular surgery, and get away. It avoids cardioplegia, aortic cross-clamp, hypothermia, and the complications of the same. While there is no advantage to the patient as such, because the inflammatory markers and wound healing was still a problem in the median sternotomy incision. And that is why I started myself doing more and more minimally invasive. and then realized that by using the bilateral internal thoracic artery through the left thoracotomy was a challenging. However, it just came true. And again, it was patient-driven to me, and the patient demanded and requested. That was in India. I did the first case with the minimally invasive bilateral internal mammary artery or bilateral thoracic surgery. He was a doctor himself, smoker, asthmatic, rheumatoid arthritis, on steroids, and diabetic. And then he insisted on bilateral internal thoracic artery. And then I postponed his operation one night, and the whole night I was thinking. It was the first case I did in Dinanath Mangeshkar, and bilateral internal thoracic. And I told him that if I fail, he will come to the lima and the vein grafts, if that is okay. And he agreed to that, being a doctor. And that was the first successful internal thoracic artery with bilateral lima. And after that, I realized that the sternotomy is gone, infection problem is gone, inflammatory markers are much less, and with the thoracotomy we do the anastomosis, avoiding all other things. And through this Kokilaben Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital or the Mandke Foundation, the multivessel total arterial off-pump coronary artery bypass graft surgery through left thoracotomy I did. Again, that time I did not have the instruments, or they were not available in India. For the minimally access retractors and other things. So it was a standard thoracotomy and standard taking the lima and rima and doing a Y graft and doing the 4 grafts or 5 grafts. And I think Dr. Pran Mera, who is here, I think he is a witness, and we did together almost more than 100 cases I presented in Japan. It is imminent that TCAPs will revisit and robotics will be popular. It is imminent. Take it from me. And so if we have to do TBAC and robotic tomorrow, we have to master mid-caps today as salvage procedures. And this is what Dr. Mandke and other Mandke were the first in India to start with left thoracotomy or minimal access surgery. And that keep reminding me again for him that he was such a visionary that he was thinking long back to do the same thing again. So from open heart surgery or bypass operation, we came to the minimally invasive, then robotic, and now telesurgical is happening. That at one remote place, patient is there, and one other end of the other side of the world, the surgeon is sitting, and his telesurgery or the telesurgical robotic surgery is being procedured. And this is because this is the technology which is changing the game. And this is the biggest thing which is happening today and will happen today and tomorrow. And we have to master this technology. We cannot ignore it, and we cannot do this. The robotic surgery, if you do it, you will realize that the tremors of your hand are totally disappears. So the 360-degree movement inside the chest is not possible with our 2 hands. We putting in somebody's chest and doing it. And without any tremors, if you do it from the outside, all the tremors disappear with the robotic. So it is good for the patient. It is good for you also. And it's an amazing way to do it also. But it will take its time, and it will take its learning curve whenever it happens. The benefits of telesurgery is you can do remote places, eliminates the travel and transport, and 3D display system at different centers at the same time. We can take the opinion, advice, and other technologies and new techniques we can learn different way without going from one place to another place. And that is the beauty of it. After many false starts, and status of prosthetic valves seems to be a little different than a decade ago. It has taken a long time to develop. And still today, the man has not able to make the valve the way the God has given us. So there are problems in that valve. They don't last long. However, when the God-given valve is not doing properly, we have to do something for it. And although we gain much encouragement from the follow-up of the repaired valves, then 3 decades back, we were postponing the valve surgery until it deemed necessary. Because we used to do only replacement. And the replacement is giving another disease to my patient. And that is why we used to postpone it as much as possible. But when we realized that the repairs can be done at an early stages, and they last long and better for the patient, at least they can take away their family life and much better. And then when it comes to the tissue wall at the end of the fag end of your life, then only can change it. Then the things were different. So with the knowledge and the skills, repair showed excellent results in subset of the patients. Then surgeons made an early plea for repair and referral for a better long-term results. And the timely repair helps in that. For mitral valve, technology took over. The skills and the balloon dilatation has helped in many patients. And there is no need of doing an operation. We can do once or twice the balloon until the valve becomes so bad that now it requires a replacement. So without an operation, without this, the patient can have another 10 years or 20 years of life. That is the technology which has come into the picture. But there was nothing for aortic and pulmonary valves. And then I decided to think and work about the technology for the aortic and pulmonary valve repairs. So why repair for the aortic valve? Because if you see the age on this axis down, you will see the valve repair can be done from the early age till the age of 70 or 80. While your Ross procedure or mechanical valve and biological valve has a limitation of the age that usually indicates that it's not, it's the guidelines rather than the limitations of the age, but usually we avoid doing a mechanical valve in elderly and biological valve in an earlier age of these patients. The technology has helped us to find out that where the stress is maximum in the aortic valve, and this MRI and the PET has helped us to do that. Because previously, when I was in learning phase, that time we should take these valve stitches at the commissures so that to prevent the leak and hitch them up. However, the stress which I showed you in the last picture is mainly in the center of it, and the repairs of the aortic valve are concentrating on the central portion of this of the leaflets than at the commissural level. So the changing of technology or the new technology has helped us to understand the problems here. And then I thought that this is the beauty of this God-given valve. This is the aortic valve. There are no chordae, there are no papillary muscle, there is no structural other things that is holding this valve. While you have got a parachute-like thing holding the mitral and a tricuspid valve. In this valve, it is just a pure hemodynamics. The pressure difference between this side of the valve and that side of the valve, and it closes and stops the leak. It's such a beautiful valve God has given us. Can we make it or mimic it again? Or do to the patient again? And when we look at the tissue valve, whether you put in a mitral, tricuspid or aortic position, you will realize it's exactly on the basis of the aortic valve. It is the same way it has been designed, same way the human has made this valve. So why not we make it directly on a patient like this? And then I started going to the IIT after finishing my work for almost 5 years. And then wanted to tell the engineers about this valve. And then this whole process started going, and from 2D dimension to 3D dimension. This is not me, this is the engineer, and I have nothing to do with this mathematics or geometry. But then what I learned from them is how to find out the leaflet size and leaflet diameter and all those things. And then they came with finally the formula from which they made the molds, and that I put that mold for that diameter, and you get one leaflet made from that diameter. And just I cut that mold and the pericardium and suture it to the annulus of the aortic valve. So they have patented this, which I was not for, but the engineers wanted to patent that formula for developing this mold, and it's in the process of it. So after 1 year or so, they have this was one of the patient, 70-year-old with a CABG with a I'll just cut through. So these are the leaflets we suture it to the annulus. And this is the 3 leaflets which are made now new. And so if you put some saline, it test, it's not a perfect test, but it holds. And then after the surgery, after 1 year of the surgery, this is the echo of this patient that is completely leak proof, and his coaptation of the aortic leaflet is very good, and is holding good without any warfarin, without any aspirin. So this is a very gratifying thing that we can do from the pericardium of the patient, that patients 1 lakh or 2 lakh rupees of the valve are not demanded. But the technology is a game changer. And when I was doing this for aortic valve, the new aortic valve came, that I don't have to suture the valve and take some 16 sutures and 14 sutures and tie them up with the 7-8 knots. So the sutureless, the stentless valve first came. Because when the valve is on a stent, it takes the diameter, and whenever it decreases the diameter, the rest to 4 area of the valve flow through it is hampered. And that is why the flow through it is not as much as the size of the valve or size of the valve. And though the technology has come with the stentless valve, so there is no stent, so the internal orifice area of the valve is much bigger. And then they came with the rapid deployment as a sutureless valve. I don't have to suture them because the nitinol technology is in cold water it shrinks, and in hot water or in the blood or in body temperature it expands and remains expanded there. On the same technology, your tower and other valves as TAVI valve has come. And that is what is now game changer, that you don't have to stay in a hospital for 10-15 days. In second day, you are discharged from home. And we did a minimally invasive workshop in Mumbai, and Dr. Vinayak Bapat, again, is a student of Dr. Tendulkar. He had come for a minimally invasive, and he does tower a lot. And I told him to do one minimally invasive surgery, aortic valve replacement, and at the same time I told him to do one AVR. The patient with the tower went home before he reached America, and the patient with the surgical AVR was in the hospital for 7 days after the surgery. But that is demanding. So this is valve in a valve. That is, we can choose a tower. We can see the previous valve in which this new valve has been put, and that is the technology which patient goes on. And this new cath lab and the operation theater now are combined together, and this hybrid cath lab. So the things are changing very fast in cardiac surgery. Though the heart was the last organ to be touched by the surgeon, though it is 4 centimeters or 4 inches from the skin, the technologically and knowledge-wise and computerization, like computer, it has the treatment of it and understanding of it has changed so fast in the last 40 years, 50 years. That is very amazing. So initially the cardiac surgery was a very skillful job. However, now it has been taken over by the technology. There is a saying called ASK, that is attitude, skill, and knowledge. That is what a cardiac surgeon should have. And then it should be now changed to the task, where the technology also should be added, and we should not ignore the technology at all. And it is going to come. It is going to help us. It is going to help our patients as well. Technological advances enhances the recovery of the post-cardiac surgery, and digital health is coming. The complex remodeling and 3D printing. We have done some complex remodeling and 3D printing with the help of IIT, Powai IIT, and in our complex congenital patients from around in 40s. And in difficult cases, if we do one operation or the other way operation, will it damage, will it block the LVOT or will it block the RVOT and other things, and we can change that accordingly the operation. So characterizing relationship of ventricular volume, stress, and the stroke volume associated with the surgical ventricular reconstruction, other cardiac devices is a very useful technology. The 3D printing is available. It is also additive manufacturing to facilitate the rapid prototyping for the product development, for custom implants, and surgical planning for many other things in different difficult cases. My last frontier of my career was my heart transplant. And I said, the first was I have dedicated to Sir, or tributed to the Sir. Not for only encouraging me to learn about it, but also after our meeting in Boston in few weeks, he had a heart attack and thought he should have a heart transplant then, he would have been with us. It was a challenging thing for me. There are a lot of hurdles to start with. Developing a team, same understanding or same liking of the people, convincing the management, finding a donor, because on horizon I never used to find donors. And so many times it has happened that I see the patient dying in the ICU with the heart failure, but there is no donor of that blood group. And it is like walking on the street when a dog comes to you, you don't find a stone. And if you carry a stone in your pocket, dog never comes to you. And this keeps on happening. And then my patient used to dodge whenever he used to get a donor, and it was a very difficult time for them. It's a spectrum of the disease. And it can be from normal, heart failure patients can be normal to a refractory. And it is only in the refractory heart failure that is where we intervene for a transplant. There are no new medicines which has come up, and that will decrease the chance of you coming from decompensated heart failure to a refractory heart failure. But they will not stop it. They just postpone it. But it has never happened that the new medicines have improved the ventricular function or the ejection fraction of the dead muscle, and then the patient is doing now fine with a good extending. Ejection fraction of 30-35% has come to 40% and patient is fine. But the patient with the ejection fraction of 15% or 20% has never happened that, and the heart transplant is the only treatment. And that is why the referral for these patients at an early stage for keeping them on a list for a transplant is very, very important. So this is the refractory stage where all your medicines have worked out. Your diuretics, AC inhibitors, beta blockers, and Vimada or Arni now, which is a new medicine, and there are some new medicines coming. When the patient comes with the refractory to this, that medicine also doesn't work, then patient comes to our hospital, the same medicines or Lasix injection we give, and then patient feels fine for some time, and they go back, and they keep coming to the hospital like a frequent flyer. And then they become dependent to the hospital in the ICU, and then crash, and then it is an endless story. And then the cost also goes up, and the problems also intervene a lot. So these are the two only things, that mechanical assist device and a heart transplant are the only two things. So severe heart failure of any cause, refractory heart failure because of any cause, valvular, dilated cardiomyopathy, viral infection, ischemic dilated cardiomyopathy, diabetic cardiomyopathy, whatever cause, debilitating refractory angina, ventricular arrhythmias, and any cause, these are the things. And the heart transplant is the only treatment for such heart failure. But the new frontier in heart transplant, I realize, is that the treatment for the heart transplant or the surgery for the heart transplant has not changed at all. The same stitches, same thing, same technique, same method, same steps, they have not changed for the last 50 years. What has changed dramatically is rejection, control of infection, and immunology, and which are the topics I had equipped for the option during my MCH exam. But now I have to study them, I have to use them, and that is my new frontier again for the heart transplant. It is seemingly insurmountable problems of rejection and limited availability of the grafts are not less formidable problems than a miniaturization of energy sources for implantable devices like LVAD and other things on which NASA is also working for many years. So when we understood this problem, I realized that I did a heart transplant, but the pat on the back should be on a donor, because it was very difficult to get a donor. Very impossible that time to get a donor. Little bit awareness has now increased. And secondly, I realized that I am a courier boy here who gets one heart from one place and give it here, and the rest is done by Almighty. And that is what I honestly feel that a heart transplant is about. If the heart transplant is not there and nothing is on horizon, we are supported with the IBP, intra-aortic balloon pump, ECMO, Centrimag, LVAD, and LVAD is a permanent LVAD. So there are the mechanical circulatory assist devices. Everything has its limitation, everything has its complications, everything has its indications and contraindication. IBP helps to the left side of the heart, doesn't help the right side of the heart. ECMO helps the right side of the heart, doesn't help the left side of the heart. ECMO is like a cardiopulmonary bypass without reservoir. Centrimag is a LVAD, and which helps the left side of the heart, doesn't help the right side of the heart. So we have to use appropriately, judiciously, which one we are using for what condition and what cause, and depending on that, we have to go ahead in each case. So now the new thing has come is Impella, which we can put as a small thing. You can see here in the top here, the small thing is the Impella is a pump. And you put through across the aortic valve, and it pumps the blood from the left ventricle and ejects into the aorta. And it is very handy. For example, the intra-aortic balloon pump, I cannot transport the patient with a high altitude or in the aeroplane. I can go on the ground, because the helium is a gas which is inert and it doesn't work at that altitude. So in Impella, we can transport the patient very easily. So this is the patient here you can see here the patient, you put the impella in Goa, transferred the patient here, and got a transplanted done, and now she is fine and come for a follow-up. So this is the impella in her. So I cannot run this video, but this is the impella. So these CentriMag or the left ventricular assist devices are temporary and permanent, and these are the temporary ones. They are huge. And like you have the big computers previously, and now they are miniature, and they are like now in this smartphone, you get all the computer things done. Similarly, this is a small thing, and now this is a small thing which you can implant it here and then in a heart, around the heart, and then there is one small cable comes, a mini cable comes which is to be for charging it for the console. And now that also charging cable has to be taken out, and the charging will be transcutaneous or magnetic or by the solar. That the research is now going on for the fixation of this problem. This is biventricular assist device. So it is for the left and the right heart when both are not working properly or when there is a high pulmonary vascular resistance. The current status of the LVAD is there is the area series which is happening, and the main problem with the LVAD is thromboembolism and infection. And the main problem with the transplant is infection and rejection. So there is not an end of it. There is no problem. So every time we solve one problem, it gives another solution. That solution creates new problems, and this cycle will go on. So is antiplatelet removal and thromboembolism less formation is what the technology is now working on. And the total artificial heart and magnetic energy transfer and solar energy is being done. There are logistics of the organ donors like transportation and the legal things and the DCD and organ care system, which will help us to take the heart or the organs from maximum centers that we cannot reach there, but we can keep them in organ center, and then after 2 days or 3 days, we can transplant them. So the heart transplant is a race against time. The interstate organ transfers is difficult. Unavailability and the cost of the private aircraft is huge, and the green corridor, and to keep the people away waiting. So we're working on a drone. We can take that much of weight of that organ and bring the drone from airport to the air. So I don't want to stop the traffic of Mumbai. The procurement of the organ care system is on the way ahead, and we should India should make in India. This is one of the organ care system on which the world is working on. It's very costly at this stage for our patients. Making of a team and training of the team and other things is a theme. And you have heard that the team, there is no I, but there is me in this. And that also should be out if you have to have a good team for the patient. It is impossible to do this by single-handed or by one person, and you have to have team for it. There are many things we can do singly, but there are much more things and more comfortably. And if I want to advance further, then I have to teach and take the people so that I can think further that somebody is doing my job also. The new frontiers is Make in India artificial hearts and organ care systems and organ transportation. It's mandatory donation for opt-out system that we can talk about for hours on that. The xenotransplant is now coming up as a new frontier. And this is all of us, we know, and the problems of it, that we are changing the gene of an animal to make it suitable for human beings, and it will last long. Ambrose Pare in 16th century had written, the heart is the chief mansion of the soul, the organ of the vital capacity, the beginning of life and the fountain of vital spirits, and the continual nourisher of vital heat. First living and last dying. And that is very, very important. And please, 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 my one message to all of you is, if you can make effort to awareness of anybody for organ donation, it will be great. The new frontiers today we face is cardiac surgery is under the influence of several unique forces. There are problems that need to have, and eventually they will have the solutions. The problems posed today may not be greater than those which were earlier posed by the challenges of extracorporeal circulation, open heart surgery, making the prosthetic valves and the replacements. And on the shoulder of which I am standing today, that I can talk of today of the new frontier, because a lot of efforts and a lot of science and a lot of technology, like Dr. Tendulkar, Dr. Mandke, Dr. G.B. Parulkar and other people in the past, or Gibbon and all from the past, they have worked so hard to come to this stage. And this is not the end of this stage, but this will go on. When the limit eventually comes, when the modern problems of cardiac surgery gain solutions, and that is our new frontier. But the new frontiers, or those new solutions, will pose new problems of different scale and magnitude, and the spiral of the progress proceeds and it continues. How often since the patient's time we have come to the conclusion that surgery of the heart has probably reached the limit set by the nature of all surgery. There is no such thing as an insurmountable barrier to any worthy cause in any walk of our life. So please donate, please keep beating your heart even after your birth, even after your death. My mother was 84 and she was a teacher, municipal school teacher. And the one thing she told us that, I want to donate my organs. So I said that you are 84, 85, 83 and how? He said, no, if you want, donate my whole body. But I want to teach you even after my death. So please donate my organs. So she has donated her body to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Thank you. Thank you. Are there 5 minutes I can talk, or is? This is for the first transplant which I dedicated to Sir, Dr. Mandke. It's just 5-10 minutes. I was in Pune, and there was some news going on that there is a potential donor in Pune. On the same, it was Saturday night, and the same Friday night, for Friday early morning, I had got 2 patients, one from Amarnath and one from the New Bombay, at 2 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning, because they were not doing well. They were heart failure patients and they couldn't breathe. So I got them here, gave injection Lasix infusions, dovitamin, and kept them alive, and then stabilized them. I knew I got 2 potential donors, and then I went to Pune for some family work. There I came to know this, and I started going back on Sunday evening, and it was a landslide on Khandala Ghats. So it took me 5.5 hours. And during these 5.5 hours, I got a call that their family has decided to donate the organ. Now, I came back here. We had team, we had rehearsal. I met the commissioner of Mumbai that time for an organ, for a green corridor and everything. I think there are a few who are there in my team who are still here today also. And I told the team who was supposed to go for retrieval, you go ahead and take, whose samples we will take, blood sample. We got 2 patients. So one is very, very sick patient, right heart failure, emaciated, cardiac cachexia, ascites, edema of feet, cannot talk, cannot speak, cannot walk. And the other was little better, but still he was in hospital for heart failure. He was left heart failure. He was well. So I said, take both bloods and go, because donor is O positive. So it doesn't matter which blood. So they decided to go to Pune. And on the way, everybody thought that the one who is sick will do him. So if something goes wrong and if he dies, that is not that much bad, because he's already very, very sick patient. I said, no, he will not tolerate that operation. So he'll better do it. So that was, and then finally it came that around 1 o'clock night, the relatives of the sick patient, very sick patient, the parents were in Hyderabad, so they couldn't come, and the brother and sister couldn't give the consent. So the problem solved by itself. And there was a patient who I wanted to do, he was still there for an organ, for a transplant. I thought that everything is done. The team has reached to the Pune. The problem was coming back, because by road it was impossible, because 5-6 hours will go in the traffic only. And I had 4 hours. So I called the then chief of cardiac surgeon of CTC, Pune, Cardiothoracic Center, Army Hospital. And they have got they have got Air Force, Pune base. So I thought I can get one aeroplane of the Air Force and he will bring in 7 minutes but after talking to him, he said that you are talking to an armed forces, armed person on Sunday evening at 1 o'clock at midnight. And what do you think? This is not the right time to talk. But however, I listen to you, but I don't have aeroplanes that will get. I got a fighter planes, and I don't have other planes to bring in. And to get a fighter plane permission, you have to go to the defense office in New Delhi. So it will take 70 years, and then I want to heart in 7 minutes. So then I called Captain Deshmukh, who was in Navy, Ashwini Hospital here, and he used to come to Fortis Hospital to see some operations. I knew him very well, so I called Captain Deshmukh at 1:30 midnight. And he said that, yes, we have got a naval helicopters and you can take this helicopter, but I don't look after them. So there is Captain Sanjeev Kapoor who is in charge. He gave me his number and he said, directly talk to him, tell my name, and he will help you out. So I called him 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:15, 2:30, and I was shameless. And then I called him back, said he is not picking up the phone. He said, okay, I'll give you landline number. He gave landline number. His wife picked up the phone at 2:30 midnight. And I told her that this is this. So he said, no, he's not well. That is why I put his phone in silent and I'll wake him up and tell you. So I told him the same problem again. And then he said that, civilians are not allowed on our naval helicopters because the insurance of the Army aeroplanes, Air Force aeroplanes and civilian aeroplane is different insurance. So they said, you cannot. So I said, I can't give that heart to somebody and disappear. So he said, then I have to take my special permission. I said, you tell me, I will call him at just now. And he said, no, I'll call him. He called me after 15 minutes and said that, okay, one surgeon is allowed. So what time you want, where you want? So I told him at 11:30, Pune to Mumbai. I said, wow, job is done. But my father-in-law is a ex-wing commander, fighter pilot, Sanjoy's dad. And in our talking, he had told me that the helicopters, especially naval helicopters, they do not have navigation system. And it's August month, it's a black clouds, mountains, and sometimes they will say the bad weather, so no, I'm not coming. It is good on a seashore. Happy, everything is honky-dory. But then I said, no, what to do? So it was 3:15 in the morning and I called, we had done homework before, and I called the agent for the chartered plane. And I told him that I need your aeroplane tomorrow at 11:30 at Mumbai. He said, it will come from Ahmedabad. I said, no problem. So Ahmedabad to Mumbai, Mumbai to Pune, or directly Ahmedabad to Pune. He said Ahmedabad to Pune, Pune to Mumbai, Mumbai to Ahmedabad. So I have to pay that everything. So he said, okay, done, I'll come, put down the phone. After 10 minutes, he calls me back and said, but who will pay for this? So I gave my credit card number to him. 3:30 in the morning, what else you can do? How many people you will wake up? I said, dekha jayega baad mein. And this story I told to my daughter. At that time, she was doing internship in Lonavala. And after a few months, she was doing internship. And she asked me, why you have to pay for his charter plane for bringing the heart here? Why you have to pay for that? I didn't say anything to her. And after a few months, she was doing an internship in Lonavala in a village. And she called me around 8 o'clock. She said, Baba, how will we learn? I said, what happened now? So she said, there is a child who has come in a small baby, 11 months old baby, emaciated, vomiting, dehydrated, loose motions. And I thought I'll put some 5% dextrose saline glucose and then rehydrate her and then send to the civil hospital further. So I wrote on a paper and gave it to the sister, and sister to keep it ready, so I'll finish it and he'll come there. But when I went there, the patient was not there. Sister said she has gone. So when she came out for a dinner and she saw the lady sitting on a roadside with a baby crying because she couldn't afford to bring that 5% dextrose and IV set and one needle there. So I said, now you called me for that. Then how will you learn? If government can't give this much. I said, no, look, put down the phone in your purse. take out 100 rupees and give it to her. Tell her to bring all this. And it is not easy to put 11-month baby, child, dehydrated, emaciated, IV line. So if you can't put it, don't keep on poking. Take her, put her in your car and take her to the nearest pediatrician and he will teach you how to do it. Now invest in yourself. Now once you ask me, okay, why I have to pay for the chartered plane? Because I wanted to learn. If you want to learn, pay for it. Nothing like investing in yourself. That is another thing what Dr. Mandke had told me, that leave everything, just do for yourself, compete with yourself, how will be a better man or better surgeon tomorrow than yesterday. That's it. Thank you so much, sir. Come. Oh. Madhavi, actually I have a film of her. Madhavi was a 7-year-old girl. And her parents came to me she was having a viral myocarditis. Ejection fraction 15%. Everybody said nothing can be done. They went to US, asked for their transplant, but cannot be done there because she is an Indian citizen. So she was stuck with us and we are not getting heart for her size. And one day it so happened, and it's another memorial story. She couldn't breathe, she was admitted on oxygen. While brushing her teeth, she used to have oxygen. And I don't know what to do because she was so bad. And one day I got a call that there is an 8-year-old boy who had cavernous vein thrombosis. He was an Indian flying from Sydney on a holiday to India, Mumbai. And on aeroplane, he had cavernous thrombosis, unconscious. A force landed in Bangalore. In Bangalore, he was taken to the Nimans hospital, neurology hospital, and they said nothing can be done for this. So they picked her up and brought her. Now, when his mother was refusing initially, and then we went, that time his blood pressure was 60-70. So liver said we won't want to take the heart. Kidney said we won't take the kidneys because and she started crying. And then we sat with her for 2, 3, 4 hours in different dopatum, inotropes and all, and saw that the patient has recovered. And the echo was showing the good ejection fraction now, and the blood pressure was also good. So we decided to take the heart, then liver team came, kidney team came, every team came, and she hugged me, the mother. And then she told me the story. This boy, 8-year-old boy, in Australia, in Sydney, in his school, they were taught about organ donation and brain death. 8-year-old in the classroom. And their Sadhguru there has told them to donate the organs. Now, when he came home, he asked the driving license of his mother, and the mother showed him, and he said, I'm very, very happy, and he hugged the mother and said that you are organ donor, very good. So father came, and father's driving license he asked, and father had not donated the organs. So he started telling his father every night, every dinner, that you must donate your organs. So mother said that I told him once that now you keep quiet. When you become 18-year-old, that time you donate we want to do whatever you do it, but now you eat and then go to sleep. He said, no. Before that something happens to me, I want to donate the organs. 8-year-old boy. And somewhere, same blood group, some girl in some part of Mumbai was waiting for an organ. When she was not willing to donate the organs, and when heart and kidney teams refused, she was in cry because she thought that the wish of her son she could not fulfill because his wish was to donate his organs. The time will come so soon, nobody knew it, but that was it. So it was very, very touching, and then she got it, and today she is with us. Thank you.
I'm quite speechless. It was just the most wonderful oration and very relatable to us. I have heard Dr. Anway Muley's name for so many years after Baba passed away, because I was happy to be giving anesthesia, and that was really important. And she was her praise for any cardiac surgeon is for us means quite a lot. So we have heard about you all the time, and anybody was at that point, oh, if Dr. Mandke was there, then he would have operated, and then it was always Dr. Anway Muley. So I would invite the chief guest, our dignitaries to please come back on the dais for the remainder of the program. Dr. Muley, Dr. Tendulkar, Dr. Mandke, and Dr. Bhatt. This was a very, meanwhile, while listening to Sir, it was brought back to us, all young doctors, that we are so privileged to have such talks because they are so inspiring and tell us not to stop or not to believe anybody who says there is a insurmountable barrier. And that was really the take home for all of us. Also, one very important thing that he has said, and I hope that all of us here will donate our organs or our bodies and make it known to our families again and again and make it dinner table conversation. Dr. Mrs. Mandke has already donated her body when she passes away, so that's done. So unless we make it dinner table conversations, our families in that moment of grief do not know that this is what should be coming to the mind first. And therefore, I think all of us can decide to do that this day onwards. Dr. Chaukar is not able to be here with us, and we are very grateful that Dr. Mrs. Meena Bhatt has agreed, in spite of various difficulties, to come here today and grace this occasion. So now I invite Dr. Shailesh Kamkhedkar to introduce our President of Ceremony, Dr. Anil Tendulkar. Dr. Shailesh is a consultant anesthesiologist and ECMO intensivist at Jupiter Hospital, Mumbai. He also specializes in heart lung transplants, LVAD, RVAD, and transesophageal echo. With this short introduction, you have a long introduction, but I'll keep it short, and please introduce Dr. Tendulkar.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. I welcome you all. It was a wonderful lecture and enlightening by Dr. Muley. It was very proud to say I got a little opportunity to work with him when he was working with the Kokilaben Hospital. So welcome all. With all due respect to late Dr. Nitu Mandke sir, one of the pioneer cardiac surgeons, and Dr. Alka Mandke ma'am, who is a cardiac anesthesiologist as an Iron Lady behind him. On the occasion of 20th oration, Dr. Nitu Mandke sir, it is my great privilege to introduce renowned cardiac surgeon Dr. Anil Tendulkar sir, who is an ex-professor and head of the Department of Cardiovascular Thoracic Surgery, LTMC Sion Hospital, who is a great teacher, mentor, orator, and a guru to many budding cardiac surgeons and medical professionals. He has helped to establish multiple centers capable of delivering the highest level of cardiac surgical operations across various medical institutes. I would like to highlight Dr. Anil Tendulkar sir achievement and the career journey in short. Sir has started his medical journey in 1970 as an MBBS student, passed his general surgery in 1979, and completed MCH in cardiac surgery in 81 from the KM Hospital and Bombay University, and stood first in the university. He has achieved various fellowships awarded by the Indian Association of Cardiovascular and Thoracic Surgeons. He has started his teaching journey since 1981 with 30 years of teaching experience and head of the department, professor, lecturer, PG guide and honorary teacher, not only to MCA students but also to the perfusionists, nursing students and various medical institutes like KM and LTMC Science. Even at the age of 70, he has not stopped spreading his knowledge to us as a teacher, to many PG students and CVTS surgeons. He was an examiner and paper setter for the MCH CVTS Institute, universities like Mumbai, AIMS, SDPI, NIMS, and DNB, and many more. In his academic journey, he has presented 41 papers, presentations, and 63 publications in national and various international journals. He was worked as an investigator and co-investigator in various research projects like study of hypertrophied heart in human and animal, off-pump CABG and myocardial enzymes release, and etc. He is also an author to various e-books, which is very famous among their PG students, like 8 notes for the CVTS PG exams, questioning and answer, applied anatomy of heart, MCQs for the perfusionists, and instrumentations in cardiac vascular surgery. He was appointed as a chairman of a single member committee set up by the Mumbai University to draft the syllabus for the MCS students in 2004. Sir has total experience of over 30,000 operations, independently operating, assisting senior surgeons, supervised junior trainees in open, closed heart surgeries, lung surgeries, and vascular surgery. He has worked in various renowned hospitals across Mumbai, like Holy Family, Prince Ali Khan, and Wokhart Hospital in Mumbai. He has been conducted many diagnostic camps across Maharashtra since 95 and in Gujarat since 84. Besides being an academician and renowned CVTS surgeon, he is also well known for his elocution, dramas, and one-man stand-up talk show like Me, Fajit Wadekar. Not only this, he has represented his college in badminton and Indian classical vocal music as a singer and sitar player. He is a life member of Dadar Matunga Cultural Center, and he is also an animal lover. As everyone knows, behind every successful man, there isn't just a woman, but a prayerful and hardworking better half. I would like to introduce Dr. Bharti Tendulkar Donde ma'am, who stood first among the girls at state level HSC exam, done MBBS and MD anesthesia from KM, and stood third in the university, and worked as a professor of anesthesia in KM, and later he retired as the head of the Department of Anesthesia from LTMC Science Hospital. She is a keen debater, also participated in intercollegiate drama competition, has won many prizes, and ma'am is also an animal lover. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
I now invite Dr. Anil Tendulkar to speak a few words.
Shailesh, for those kind words. It was slightly shorter than Anway's speech. So I actually measured the time. Anyway, it's a great honor to chair this meeting, and first and foremost, I congratulate Anway for an extremely informative, entertaining, and the last part was extremely emotional also. So please accept my Anway congratulations for this. In the first movie which we all saw, two characters of Dr. Nitu Mandke came to my mind very clearly. One is ambidextrous surgeon, an extremely humane person. A small story about humane nature of Dr. Nitu Mandke, that in 1999, I remember the year clearly because I was just transferred to Sion Hospital, and there was a off-pump CABG workshop, and I had taken my residents to see that workshop, video shooting, and I don't know, perhaps the entire crowd was absolutely seated like this. Nobody was talking, nobody was asking any question, everybody was quiet. Mobiles were not there that time, so nobody was scanning any mobile. And Dr. Mandke appeared on the TV screen, and within 2 or 3 minutes he realized the silence in the crowd. And in the typical Nitu Mandke style, which was described by Nana Patekar, he used some words starting with bha, bha, bibi, boo, boo. And immediately the entire atmosphere relaxed. And my residents started telling me, sir, you unnecessarily gave us tension that over there not to. So that is, he realized the pulse of the audience. So that was his nature. And number two is ambidextrous nature. This ambidextrous word was introduced to me by my teacher, Dr. S.D. Devdar, my general surgery teacher. And that time he told me the meaning of ambidextrous is clumsy with both hands. And very sincerely I believed it. Till I one day actually saw the dictionary and realized it. Whole idea I was telling you this is, these two characters are very much in Anway Muley. And I think Alka Mandke madam should be congratulated for choosing the right person on the occasion on 75th. Very difficult to say, very difficult for me to say anniversary, but I will still say birthday of Dr. Nitu Mandke. One aspect of Anway, perhaps you while introducing forgot, he is a poet also. And I am many times the only listener to that poetry. Bad part about the poetry is that very long poems. And you have to just hold a phone and keep on saying, wah wah, chan chan, yes. And he remembers entire poem absolutely by heart. So that's great. I'm also, Sanjot also must have suffered at the hands of. Anway and me are very famous members of a society of no tie, no coat cardiac surgeon society. And I am very happy. In between he had wavered off, started wearing coat. But after leaving this institution, I think he's back. So I am very happy he has still maintained no tie, no coat society of cardiac surgeons. So that's about the few words I will like to, I wanted to share with you. Thank you very much for this excellent evening, wonderful gathering and lovely hospitality. I really love and affection. Few words about Madam, but anybody going to speak, or Madam, can I say about Dr. She is perhaps the first cardiac anesthetist of the country. These are the people who are textbook by themselves. They don't pass exams, they create the science. They are creator of, she may not be MD, DM, cardiac anesthesia, but they are the creator of science. And one advice she gave me long back when she realized I'm going to stick myself in full-time practice, she told me, which this sentence I will not forget even today, that Tendulkar, 11 Gavaskars don't make Indian cricket team. You require opening batsmen, you require middle order, you require wicket keeper, you require fast bowlers, you require spinners, you require 12th man also to bring drinks. So everyone in the team is equally important. What Anway was stressing was told to me, Anway, I was fortunate. You are not that fortunate to have good teachers. But we were fortunate to have good teachers. And she told me that day, and when I really rose in the ranks, I realized no person in the department is useless. Each and every person has can perform a duty, it is the job of the boss to find out and place that person in that particular slot to achieve the best. So thank you, madam, for enlightening us, and she has really loved all her students like a mother bee. Whenever the word mother bee, I always remember Madam Bhatt. So thank you very much. Thanks for patiently listening to me and smiling at the correct spot. Thank you very much. Good day.
Thank you, Dr. Tendulkar, for your special comments. I wish we could continue in same vein. So now to move forward, we will now present the memento and citation to our dear orator, Dr. Moe. I request Farhana, Dr. Mandke and Dr. Mrs. Mandke's secretary and executive assistant to this date to do the honor. And while she presents it, I will read out the citation for the audience as well. Come from. Dr. Nitu Mandke had a vision, a beautiful dream of the future of healthcare for our country and its people. Today we pay tribute to him for his lifelong services to society. We bestow upon Dr. Anway Muley for his achievements and contribution to the field of cardiovascular surgery the honor of delivering the 20th Dr. Nitu Mandke Oration. Signed, Dr. Suresh Rao, Coordinator, and Dr. Alka Mandke, Chairperson. Thank you, Farhana. I would now like to invite and introduce my other sibling, Dr. Zui Mandke, to the podium to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Mrs. Meena Bhatt. Dr. Zui Mandke is a consultant pediatric and neonatal laparoscopic surgeon attached to Surya Hospitals, Holy Family Hospital, Saifi Hospital, and Brish Candy Hospital. She is now a wonder woman of pediatric surgery.
I had to bribe her to say that. Good evening, dignitaries on dais and the august audience before me. Dr. Arun Saukar was supposed to attend as chief guest, but he had to cancel because of ill health. I am very grateful to Madam Meena Bhatt to have the largest of heart to agree immediately at the last minute to grace this occasion as chief guest. So I will have the pleasure of introducing both eminent personalities. Dr. Arun Saukar is an eminent cardiothoracic surgeon from Mumbai, a common household in the Mandke Parivar. He acquired his MBBS, MS General Surgery, MCH Thoracic Surgery degrees from the prestigious KEM Hospital in Mumbai. He was Dr. Nitu Mandke's lecturer and mentor in KEM Hospital when Dr. Mandke joined KEM as registrar in 1973. When Dr. Nitu Mandke was acting HOD in Sion Hospital, Dr. Arun Saukar transferred to Sion as head of department and professor, and they developed the cardiothoracic surgery department of Sion Hospital together. Dr. Saukar continued as professor and head of Sion Hospital till he retired in 1998. Since then, he has been a consultant cardiothoracic surgeon in various hospitals in Mumbai. He has had many awards many publications and many presentations to his name. He has been examiner for MCH as well as DNB, treasurer World Congress of Coronary Heart Disease in 1982, general secretary International Congress of Coronary Heart Disease 1988. Dr. Saukar has always been Baba's advisor and a friend to the family in difficult situations. Unfortunately, he could not come today. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Meena Bhatt. Dr. Tendulkar has already done a very good, has played a very big part in the introduction there. She is a stalwart of cardiac anesthesia in Asia. Cardiac anesthesia in India came into existence when Dr. P.K. Sen established the Department of CVTS in KEM Hospital. This would not have been possible without the extreme efforts of the anesthesia department led by Dr. Meena Bhatt. She is the pioneer of the KEM CVTS program along with Dr. P.K. Sen, Dr. Parulekar, Dr. Pandey and Dr. Saukar, and has researched and practiced extensively to avoid blood transfusion in cardiac surgery. Dr. Bhatt and Dr. A.J. Dhruva successfully administered anesthesia during the first heart transplant in Asia in 1968. Dr. Mandke was a registrar in CVTS in KEM Hospital for 4 years when he worked closely with Dr. Bhatt. You have seen her in the video complimenting his handwriting. He was a favorite registrar and she was like an elder sister to him. I now invite Dr. Meena Bhatt to say a few words.
काय बोलू मांडके 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 तर चांगला होता गुड he was good Mandke was good and he used to talk very nicely to everybody.
Thank you, madam. We are so grateful that Meena madam could make it today at Dr. Alka Mandke's special and last minute request. I would now request Alodia De Cruz to present the token of appreciation to Dr. Anway Muley. Alodia is the in charge of booking office at Bridge Candy Hospital, so a very important person. She was Dr. Nitu Mandke's secretary as long as I can remember and now a part of our family. Along with the plant, we are also presenting Dr. Muley and our guests with a special calendar on the occasion of 75th birthday of Dr. Mandke, which has his comments and his ideas or thoughts in them. Similarly, I request Mr. Vishal Jadhav, son-in-law of Dr. Mandke and a finance expert, to present a token of appreciation to the president of our ceremony, Dr. Anil Tendulkar. I now request Mrs. Jivat Karnani Mandke, daughter-in-law of Dr. Mandke, to present the token of appreciation and calendar to our chief guest, Dr. Mrs. Meena Bhatt. Jivat is Head Sales and Sales Excellence, Digital and Data Transformation at Tata Consultancy Services. As we near the end of our wonderful program, I invite my mother, Dr. Mrs. Alka Mandke, to deliver the vote of thanks. It's not over yet because we will meet all of you outside for high tea after this. She really needs no introduction here at all, and it is impossible for me to introduce her in 3 lines. So I will only say that she is the head of Department of Anesthesiology at Kokilaben Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital. One lady, probably, without whom this hospital wouldn't have seen the light of day. She is the pillar of strength for many, 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 and she wears probably 15 other hats on a daily basis with ease. She enjoys sitting on swings and can do a Shirshasana on demand. With that, I present Alka Mandke. I'm trying to take some inspiration from Dr. Tendulkar. After that, I will see you all for high tea, arranged just outside this hall. Thank you.
So I have learned this escapism of doing any duty for this oration, now that it is set so nicely. To find the orator is always a big task, but every time, suddenly, something comes to my mind, and it all fits in its places, and the beautiful oration takes place. Now, what hat I'm wearing, I don't know today, but it really has gone so well, Anway. As where I am standing here, I feel like thanking so many people, starting from our chairman, Tina Ambani, directors, Shri Bhandari was also here, executives, Dr. Santosh Shetty, Dr. Mihir Dalal, maintenance department, Pathak, IT department, catering head, Ms. Nazpar and Ram Acharya, and security head, Mr. Sawant. Couldn't do anything here without their help. My consultant friends, Dr. Kapadia and Dr. Lad, accompanied us in the boardroom today, very early, exactly on time, and I was able to introduce everybody. They knew, but it was a nice chat in the beginning of the function. First of all, thank you, Anway, for very kind, touching references of your meetings with Dr. Mandke, and greatly appreciate. I was also there in Boston at that time, and greatly appreciate dedicating first heart transplant in Maharashtra to Dr. Mandke. I was very much touched. Actually, after Dr. Mandke is passing away, you won't believe, but I have tried very hard to get Anway to work with us in Lilavati Hospital. But he was not contactable. I don't think he remembers that, but he was very busy surgeon operating at various places. And I'm very happy when he told me that I will be doing bilateral beating heart memory. Is it all right? So I said, I'm very happy when he joined Kokilaben Hospital. And I enjoyed looking at his work. I'm very happy to tell you that I'm very blessed to have seen something which I had lost for a very long time. So I congratulate. Dr. Mandke wanted India to make all artificial devices, and his topic for today is relevant to his dream. Means Anway's topic is relevant to Dr. Mandke's dream. Thank you for excellent oration. I also want to tell you all one more quality of our orator. Dr. Tendulkar said something else. I want to say that he is a very good cook. All in anesthesia department on the 3rd floor have tasted his food. I want to especially thank Dr. Sanjot to come specially from Pune through her busy schedule. It is a working day today. I admire and fully understand her predicament, being a dental surgeon herself and wife of a very busy cardiac surgeon, particularly because she is not in his team. It was little easier for me. I could not least understand why my husband was so easy if I was not in his team. Thank you, Dr. Anil Tendulkar, for accepting my invitation very quickly and happily agreeing to preside over this oration, and dear Dr. Bharti Tendulkar accompanying him. They are very accomplished people, and we had a very nice time in the boardroom, listening to the jokes and many other things. I also thank Dr. Saukar to readily accept my invitation, and also thank him for suggesting Dr. Anil Tendulkar to preside over the oration. Unfortunately, I was shocked yesterday by his call that yesterday afternoon, and then I didn't know what to do now suddenly. And first thing I thought of was Mrs. Bhatt. And I did not know in what condition she is at all. I had not heard about it, anything about her. I tried to call another person. I called Dr. Divekar, which unfortunately she doesn't seem to have come. Usually she attends, and she was going to attend. So she also could not tell me much. So I directly called Madam, and she was on the phone, and she said, yes, I will come. But beyond that, she was not saying anything. So I was very confused as to what to do now. She wants to come, but she is not talking at all. So then I tried to call Lata, another consultant from Kokilaben Hospital. She was very, very busy. She said, I won't be able to come tomorrow. Means I wanted her to be with her, because I wanted somebody to be with her to bring her here. Because I had no idea she was not talking at all. And to my surprise, her son Apurva called from UK. I was looking at UK call, I was surprised, but generally we don't take unknown calls, but I took that call, and she said, I will be very happy if you take her for the oration. She will be happy being with other people, because otherwise she is concised in her room, very well taken care of by 3 ladies round the clock. And so I decided to take that chance. And I'm extremely happy that she has come so far. And she could say, Dr. Mandke, which she has not been talking at all. So Dr. Tendulkar was also saying that when Dr. Deval saw them, husband and wife, they said exactly the things they would have said, but otherwise he would have said, but otherwise he was not talking to anyone. So these memories from long time back are always preserved to some extent, although she couldn't say much. So, but she said a lot, I think. I told her son that actually I'm feeling very emotional, and what to do about it I did not know. But I'm now very happy that I took that step and got her here. And Dr. Praveen and Shailesh immediately took on very happily. They were happy to introduce their, the people they have seen as, great people in our cardiac surgery, anesthesia and branch. So they did their job very, very seriously and very nicely. They came all the way from Thane exactly on time, even if he did one surgery in the morning. And I'm very happy that he, a student of Dr. Anway, has started doing very efficiently and heart transplants on his own, first at Global and then now at Jupiter Hospital. And Shailesh is with him as anesthetist. I want to also thank Many doctors here we have come on my invitation, Dr. Khandekar, Dr. Nagle, Dr. Karnik, Dr. Narendra Garaj, our anesthetist, so many, and my classmate, friend, Dr. Basare, Dr. Kerkar. My secretary here in KDA, Farah, as always keeps track of minute details and gets everything done from various people with her sweet approach. Nitu's longtime secretary and head of admissions, British Candy Hospital, our family member, Alodia De Cruz, makes that citation always. The duties are given always to, and they do them with their heart in. Mr. and Mrs. Tini and Mahendra, they always send their person for the floral decoration, just a phone call away always. List goes on, and it's impossible to mention all names, although I would personally want to thank each one of you to be here today. I cannot end without appreciating our children and relatives standing and firmly supporting me in every respect. Thank you very much.